The Nihlist Spasm band, I didn't know what to make of it because all I could see were all these sort of banged up instruments and great big military drums and sort of smashed instruments and homemade kazoos and things that looked like violins but weren't violins. For example, Art Pratten's instrument was called a Pratavarius, and it was a noise band. And I would say in the early 60s, the concept of a noise band, I mean, virtually no one had ever heard of that.
Is a bar band. People tend to forget that, but that's what we are as a bar band. A noise band, but a bar band.
We came here because they let us play out in public. You know, we were it was the only place the Spasm band could play because Monday nights was dead at the York. So anything we did was better than what they had already. So they let us play. And Mo would chirrup in the background about how awful we were, and Eddie would go out to the front corridor and talk to the regulars and close the door so he didn't have to listen to us.
The York was a very sleepy place when we first arrived here on a Monday night. Everyone was asleep at the tables, the few who were here. And it just came alive, you know, when we started. Well, we didn't start it, actually. Another jazz band started before us. But people came, they had fun. There was no pretensions. It was a neighborhood pub, and Eddie and Mo were great, and the beer was cheap, and we just played. And people hated us, but they stayed and drank anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to begin by playing I Dreamed I Was Living in Paradise. This piece was played before, but at the time the audience was such that I don't think they were able to receive it properly.
It had the Spasm band with a non-hostile audience. At that college, they had snowballs thrown in their amplifiers. And in other venues, they're quite definitely hostile. But they had their friends here and their following.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first selection this evening, selection number 1, I Dreamed I Was Living in Paradise. I dreamed I was living in paradise, but I woke from my dream at sunrise, and then I began to realize I was still in London, Ontario. London, Ontario. London, Ontario. I was still living there.
About the Spasm band, I never really liked them very much, quite frankly, if the truth be known.
The Nihlist Spasm band is a band that only certain people can tolerate, and some people probably will leave when they start, but there are other people who have especially come here tonight to hear the Spasm band. They're probably the best known band. They're probably the band that created the aura of the York Hotel.
Oh, well, it was a very intense musical scene. In the 60s, there was a lot of avant-garde. I mean, the Nihlist Spasm band, their existence and the prominence of the York are very closely interconnected. They began here, and they brought the York to prominence, as well as the York bringing them to prominence. In the 70s, it was the birthplace of a lot of other sort of new wave bands, the Demics and Second Thoughts, and it had like a 2-decade history of bringing a lot of musical acts to prominence.
when the Messrs. Asaph finally threw them out, Greg Curnoe said ingrates, because he had got them into Arts Canada and Vogue magazine and all sorts of literary mags. But what cared they about Arts Canada, you see? They had to make a living. But I never forget him saying ingrates.
The Spasm Band stopped playing here in 1969 or 70 when the drinking age changed, and Eddie and Mo decided to change policy and appeal to a younger crowd. And so it was pretty well over for us then. And by that time, the artists weren't here as much. A lot of the artists weren't here. A lot of the artists had left town, but the art scene was shifting.
For strong winds that blow lonely, 7 seas that run high, all the things that don't change, come what may. All our good times are all gone, and I'm bound for moving on. I'll look for you if I'm ever back this way.
If you look at the faces here, you can sense it, you know, that people had sort of an atmosphere, there was sort of a mystique to the place that can't be really replaced or duplicated, I don't think, anywhere else.
Oh no, you don't recreate things like that. They have to happen. You can't recreate them, and you can't plan them either. They happen in a community. They're a community thing that happens, and you can't recreate it. You can't make it happen. It's just got to be there.
But by then it would be winter, ain't too much for you to do, and those winds sure blow cold way out there. For strong winds that blow lonely, 7 seas that run high, all the things that don't change, come what may. All our good times are all gone, and I'm bound for moving on. I look for you if I'm ever back this way.